Hello, this is Dr. Fitzgerald. In this session, we want to discuss multiplying polynomials. The first example we want to look at today is what happens when multiplying two binomial terms. So two binomial terms mean two terms that both have two pieces in it. So let's look at that. And here, when multiplying two binomials, we can use the FOIL method. So let's kind of review or recap, what is the FOIL method? What exactly is that? So the FOIL represents first, outer, inner, and last. So first, outer, inner, and last. So that's our FOIL. So how do we do this? So let's look at an example. We want to use this FOIL method. We want to multiply 3x minus 2 times 5x plus 7. 5x plus 7. So here we can use the FOIL method because I have two binomials, meaning this polynomial has two terms and this polynomial has two terms. So those are two binomials. So let's go through and use our FOIL method. So let's look at this. That's our first term. We multiply those together and we get a 15x squared. Next, we want to use our outer terms. And our outer terms are those, the 3x and the positive 7, which will give us a positive 21x. Now let's look at our inner term. Our inner terms are here. The negative 2 and the positive 5x. That's going to give us a negative 10x. And my last term is my negative 2 and the positive 7, which will give us a negative 14. Now we go through, simplify by adding our like terms here, and we end up with 15x squared plus 11x minus 14. And that is the final answer in multiplying these two binomials. So once again, FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, and last. That situation only works when multiplying two binomials, so a situation that looks like this. Thank you. And in this next example that we want to actually look at is, what do we do when we don't have binomials? The FOIL method can't be used. We just said we can only use this method for two binomials. Well, what do we do? Well, the distributive method always works. So you can always distribute it out. Always works. It even works in the situations when I can use FOIL. Distributive method always works. So let's look at those examples and how do we deal with that when I need to multiply a problem that looks like 4x squared plus x minus 2, and I want to multiply that guy by 3x plus 2. So how do we go about doing this? Once again, I could take the 4x and I can distribute it to the 3x and the plus 2. I can take the x and distribute it to every term. And then I can take the negative 2 and distribute it to every term. That's pretty much what we're going to do. But we're going to organize our numbers in a table. We're going to use a table method to kind of organize that. So how are we going to do that? Let's set that guy up. So here I'm going to write my first polynomial, 4x squared plus x minus 2. Then I'm going to write my second polynomial, and I'm going to write that guy vertically. Down here I have a 3x, and then a plus 2. And I'm going to draw my table. So each guy gets its own row and column. Everybody gets its own row and column. And now we're just going to fill in the pieces. So I'm going to start with now 3x times 4x squared. So 3x times 4x squared gives us a 12. And x times x squared gives us x cubed. And then we have 3x times an x. That gives us 3x squared. Lastly, up there we have 3x times a negative 2, which gives us a negative 6x. Our last row, we have a positive 2 and a positive 4x squared, which gives us 8x squared. Positive 2 times a x gives us a 2x, or positive 2x, and a positive 2 times a negative 2 yields a negative 4. Now we're almost done. We've done all the multiplication. We just need to add like terms and simplify to get our final answer. So let's do that. So when adding like terms, I'm just going to see terms in the boxes that are the same. Notice that this is the only x cubed term, so there's nothing to add with that. So I'm just going to write it, 12x cubed. Then we have 2x squared. So this is x squared here and this is x squared. So 8x squared plus a 3x squared, which gives us a plus 8x squared, because 8 plus 3 is 11. Then we see our x's. We have a negative 2x and a positive 2x, I'm sorry, that's a positive 2x, and a negative 6, which will give us a negative 4x. And then lastly is that negative 4. So this would be our final answer, simplified. This table method helps to make sure that we leave no terms out and that everything is organized in a nice manner. But like I said, you can use the distributive method or any other method that you choose too. But this one helps us keep everything in an organized way. Thank you.